So, it would seem in this new Matrix Resurrections trailer that we have the returning cast all except Lawrence Fishburne. And it's caused a lot of people to ask, where is he? Why hasn't he been contacted to return? And who is this new person that Yahya Abdul Mateen seems to be, looking like a whole lot like Morpheus? What's the reason for it? Why is Morpheus being rebooted but the other characters aren't? And I kind of assume, going from the images that we saw in the teaser and this trailer, that this time around, I believe Morpheus is a product of the machines, if not a machine himself. Some fans of the franchise would think that that kind of goes against everything that the character of Morpheus was about, especially ultimately just being straight up against the machines or helping the machines at all. Others who are more attached to the franchise kind of understand that there is a strong possibility that this Morpheus is a machine. But I thought I would break down some things within the franchise, some things that everybody kind of find obvious, but kind of compacting them together so that we can get a better idea moving forward of who this Morpheus may be and what possibly his role may be moving forward in this new rebooted franchise. I thought it would be best to start off with just explaining who Morpheus is and what was his role in the Matrix series. By the time we meet Tom Anderson, Neo, in the first Matrix film, he is already looking for Morpheus. Morpheus is a known hacker and terrorist, and he's being hunted by the agents, who we as humans kind of just see as the FBI or just anybody in a black suit. So when he comes across him, Morpheus is already established as someone who has been trying to free people out of the Matrix. By the time we meet Neo in the first film, he's already looking for Morpheus. And unbeknownst to him, Morpheus has been looking for him specifically for quite some time. Most of what Morpheus is doing is in pursuit of Neo. But when he's looking for Morpheus, he's found to be a bit of a terrorist and a hacker. And he is unaware that Morpheus has been finding people to wake up out of the Matrix. I mean, Neo at this point doesn't even know what the Matrix is. Morpheus's goal at that point was to free as many minds as he could, red pill as many people as he could, and wake them up and tell them the truth so that they could all fight back against the machine overlords that are ruling over this Matrix. At this time, Morpheus frees Neo, and along with his group and many other freed humans, they begin to enact what Morpheus is told is a prophecy. The prophecy of the One, a man that was born inside the Matrix that was created to save and free everyone. Morpheus was told this prophecy by a Matrix program called the Oracle. After living through, barely, most of the events of the first film, Morpheus believes that the prophecy has come full circle. The man is here. Neo, the One, is here to free all of us. And what he starts to begin is the first battles that would take place so that the Matrix could be destroyed and so that the machines would completely let go of their control over the human race. This probably wasn't the best way to go about doing it, but it just so happens that the war for Zion is closed with the events of Matrix Revolutions. So to Morpheus, he believed in this prophecy. Morpheus's power outside of the Matrix and within it is his belief. Nothing will stop him. And if he believes something to be true, he is going to go for it. And that was one of Neo's biggest inspiration. Morpheus's belief, but not necessarily what Morpheus believed in. Something crucial to remember is that Neo, throughout all three films, did not believe in the prophecy of the One. His conversation with the Oracle should be looked over quite a few times, because there is no point that Neo believes in the prophecy. Neo just believes that he is a free person, whether it's in the Matrix or outside of the Matrix, that fate is not something he believes in. He is in control of his life. However, all of Neo's actions leads to the credence of the prophecy of the One. Therefore, Morpheus believes that Neo was the One, and he came and he freed them and stopped the war in Zion. What happened after Revolutions? Well, Zion and the machines were at peace for quite some time. In fact, Morpheus was more upset at the fact that the Machine City never released Neo's body to Zion. And Morpheus felt as though that Zion should have his body so that they could go through rituals and so that people could know the story and be able to pay homage to this hero of theirs. And in this, he starts to rebel by bombing the Matrix. He sets off these bombs that allow people who are still hooked up to the Matrix to see the coding for themselves. There's literal bombs that are in areas where it will go off, and in place of fire and brimstone, it's the codes of the Matrix. So people that aren't waking up or haven't been red-pilled are starting to see that the world that they live in is breaking down. So this begets another rogue program that assassinates Morpheus. Now, this portion is from the canceled Matrix Online game, which understand that any property about the Matrix by the Wachowskis that were written by them is canon up until this point. Until this movie comes out, there's no reason that everything should be thought to just go by the wayside. So if we are sticking to this narrative, that means that Morpheus is very much dead. So why would he be back? And why wouldn't he look the way that he should? Well, what if, like in my first video, I said that the machines needed Neo to come back? And what better way to convince him to come back than to have the image of his best friend? It may seem like, I don't know, some kind of betrayal of the character of Morpheus, but I think people misunderstand that Morpheus was not a perfect person. That was kind of the whole point that Cypher was making, was that Morpheus was manipulating people to build an army so that he could find the One and end the war. He came to Neo probably just like he did to anyone else, saying that there's an option between waking up tomorrow and everything being okay, or taking a red pill and learning more. And then you wake up and the more is that the world is destroyed. You live in a cold, unfeeling world, and humans and machines have been at war, and we have been losing. And you gotta jack into the Matrix and help us fight, and hopefully you survive. Cypher felt betrayed. A lot of people felt betrayed. There was a faction of people that believed in what Cypher was trying to do and trying to find a way so that they could go back into the Matrix and wake up in a completely different life that they got to program before they go back in. Even his best trait was his belief in the prophecy and just how much he believed in Neo. And I think we also have to remember that it wasn't Zion that to themselves said that, hey, maybe this war will end if one day the machines birth a being that with his own power and his own sheer will set us free. That prophecy was created by a machine program called the Oracle. So why would the Oracle give such a prophecy?